to put it? Okay, so some announcements we have is that we have the Hocus Pocus group starting on October 3rd. It is on my to-do list to make that group like tonight or tomorrow, so that if you have people that want to join it, they can go in. They can be new challengers, they can be current challengers, it can be whatever you want it to be. So the only thing is that I ask my people if they're going in this group, like I make it a point, like then you need to like post sweaty selfies, you need to engage, because I like did a teacher boot camp, but it was like crickets. Like the only people who were posting in it were the people who like post every single day in our normal challenge group. So then it's like, why am I spending all this time creating a new group when literally it's the same people as before? So it's not worth all the time and the energy. So, you know, if someone who maybe like is very absent is like, yeah, I want to join this. And then you're like, okay, the requirements to join is like, you have to post your selfies and you have to comment on stuff and you have to get involved, like, so that hopefully they can, like be a part of it. But that's going to start October 3rd and is all Halloween Hocus Pocus themed. And I am super excited about that. Mint chocolate chip beach bars also come out on October 3rd, which I'm super excited about, because literally that has been like my beach bars I have every single day. I love them so much. They are perfect. Like between classes, if I get hungry, I just like grab a beach bar out of my desk and it's perfect. Sweat and Sculpt with Andrea Rogers is coming out October 4th. I haven't seen 2 launch dates, which is weird. So I'm wondering if they're only doing 1 launch date, because I haven't seen like coach release this date and like challenger release this date. But I know that's the one I'm going to start for like the Hocus Pocus group. So I'm excited to do that one. It's like a mixture of Let's Get Up and bar. So that'll be fun. New bod and body prices. They slashed the prices of body. It's now like if you were just to get body and body for an entire year, it's $199. So it's way cheaper. Essentially, bod can be added on for like $99, I think, for an entire year or something. I have to look into that. And then a bunch of people, if you've had body for a while, like I know a lot of us got emails that were like, you get your next 3 months free. Like when you cancel it, you get 3 months free. And then I think that's because then they want you to do that year-long body, which I'll probably do when I have to renew, is the year-long, because it comes out to be like $10 a month instead of, I mean, right now it's like 21, but still save half the price. So that's important. Look at that. And it's super, now it's like way more affordable, I think. So that could be a good add-on when you're talking to people about total solution packs, and adding that on. And then Super Weekend is November 4th through the 6th. I haven't decided if I'm going to go to Sioux Falls or what I'm going to do yet. I was supposed to have a wedding that day, but I don't think I'm going to go, because I think like the only person I would know there is Angie. And we're just like super weddinged out. Like we have gone to way too many weddings this summer that I'm like, I don't have capacity for another one. So we're going to do something for Super Weekend. Not quite sure what that's going to be yet. But the Sioux Falls one was really fun when I went last time. And so I'm hoping we can have even more people go to that one. Okay, so let's get into the bulk of it, like 5 things that brought me success. And when you know, we all define success in a different way. But when I think of my success, like these were, right, an income disclaimer, independent Beachbody coach, right? It's your own hard work, labor, right? Results are different for every single coach. But when I was at my peak, what I would say my peak is that we were moving forward. We were a 1-star diamond team. I was making about $700 a week, right? So I was in that like almost, I don't know what like I was almost like I was topping $200 or $2,000 a month. Right? Like we were adding coaches like crazy. And I just felt like it all was not easy, but it was like falling into place. Like I wasn't worried about Success Club, wasn't worried about any of that, because I knew it would come. And so that's kind of how I'm defining that success of like, I was confident in it. I was in a routine and I was like having the most momentum and making the most amount of money. And that was like not long ago. I mean, that was earlier in the year. It was actually probably right about a year ago, right before everything hit the fan and Shane started looking for other jobs and we were moving and all that kind of stuff. And I had to take that break. So it was kind of like, this business is such a roller coaster and you have to be okay with that, because it's like, I was literally on the high, like our team was doing better than it's ever has before. I was doing better than I ever had before. And then like everything came crashing down because Shane was like, I need you to take a break. Like you need to focus on stuff here. Like I need you to just stop. And like that was a compromise I had to make for my marriage. And then like now, we rebuilt back up over the summer. And then it's like, now I'm like stagnant again with like school starting and everything in life that's going on. Like I have sent like 10 invites all of September. But that's where this momentum, I'm at SC12 because I have people renewing. I have people who are like, I need to restart. And because I've done the work, they're coming to me. So wanted to talk about that a little bit. So tip number one is have something to invite to. And we all have something to invite to, right? Like challenge groups. And my thought to you is like, what fun new things are you doing to get people interested, right? Is it running? I just saw Sarah G ran a spirit week, right? And like people, her challengers were tagging her in their fun socks they had on, and she's showing that fun stuff. Like what fun things are you doing to get people interested and be like, yeah, that's the person I want to join. Is it themed groups, right? Is it the Hocus Pocus theme? Is it the like this month, right? Mine is like a football theme. Is it, different things? Because then you can invite specifically to that. Because guys, like I invite people to my ongoing challenge group 12 months out of the year, right? It doesn't change. It's the same exact group, but I have a different theme. So then when I go to invite them, I'm talking about, we're having this fun football theme and here are the focuses, right? We have weekly meal plans, all of that kind of stuff. And so it's just something that's like a little different to re-invite them to, and that's kind of like that focus of the month, right? So like, so now I'll start looking like in November, what is my theme going to be? Because then it's something new to invite to, something different. So it's not inviting someone to the same exact group I had 3 months ago. Like, yeah, it's on our end, it's the same exact group. It's just a different focus so I can reach out. And then the other thing is coaching, right? Are you asking people about the coaching opportunity? Are you asking your friends, your family, your challengers, people who love on your coaching posts? That's awesome. Sarah said the Spirit Week really upped her engagement. So I should do that. Like I should have done like a fall week or like Halloween. Like I know a lot of coaches who do them once a month and they're super easy. They'll be like, wear blue on Monday, wear a Hawaiian shirt on Tuesday, like, yeah, fun socks, and so definitely have something to invite to and just make it specific. Like, even if it's your same old challenge group, what are the different things you've been doing lately? Right? Like I could change it because only for like the past month, I've been doing those polls. So it could be like, here's my group where we have a poll every single morning. You come in and check in on your own time, and stuff like that. Cause it's something just different that they haven't heard from me yet. But the biggest thing of having something to invite to and inviting is planting those seeds. Perfect. Leading up. Oh, I didn't think that Super Weekend would be a super fun time to do it leading up to Super Weekend. Cause then like that Saturday is like your sweaty Saturday and you could do like Beachbody Blue or something like that and do something super fun and cool with it. Next up is share your life. And I find that when I'm looking at people's stories, especially when they're in network marketing, it is very heavy on like just their product or just what they're selling. And even I see that in coaches is it's all Beachbody related, which we want the Beachbody related stuff. Like I want people to see my workouts. I want people to see my supplements. I want to give people, tips to drink more water or healthy meals, but also people just want to know your real life. Like I can't remember what the study was, but some, fancy communication school did a study about how, like what percentage of people engage with people just because they want to know what they eat. Like people are nosy. Like they just want to see, what are you eating? What are you doing? Like, and you don't have to like air out your dirty laundry. You don't have to like tell people all about your life, right? But you can show things like, today I survived a Monday, or like yesterday, like you notice on the weekends, I'm super absent because we've been running around like crazy. And like I posted about always forgetting a wedding card, like always. Cannot remember a wedding card to save my life. And I had at least 5 people who were like, me too. Like, this is where I order mine in bulk, or like, I need to start doing this too, or whatever. And so it's like so many people just related to me as a human being. Cause I was like, I do not have my crap together when it comes to wedding cards. Or even like, I've been talking too about how like this school year has been so hard for me, like taking over new classes. And I like feel like a first year teacher again. And people are just like, me too. Like, I feel that I'm at a new school. So people want to see your real life because they want to relate to you. And that's all part of that, like, no trust. And I think it's super easy to get in the habit of posting our workouts, posting our Shakeology, posting all of that we like forget to show the real human side of us, that then people are like, oh, like that's who I want to relate to, or like, that's who I want to be like, because they're a teacher like me, or they're a mom like me, or they're trying new things that I wish I could try, and stuff like that. Tip 3 is invite daily. You guys have heard so many people talk about this over and over and over and over and over again. But honestly, like, the biggest place I ever see success is in the invite. And the number one is the personal invite, right? Like, I have been in so many people's inboxes. And I still remember when we had a guest speaker on about a month ago, when we had Craig on, and he said, like, literally, if you don't ask them, someone else will. And I know most of us have had this happen to us. If we've invited a lot of people, we've all had people where we've been too scared to invite them and send the message. And then when we finally get the courage to, they signed up with someone else. And let me tell you, that is the worst. Like, I hate that, because I'm like, so if I would have messaged you a week ago, like I wanted to, like, maybe they would have joined with me. And so that always, I'm like, drives me crazy. And so I always tell myself that, like, if I don't invite them, someone else will, and they'll become their challenger. And the thing is you don't have to be super salesy, whatever. Like, a lot of times my invites, like, hey, this is what I've got going on. Like, are you wanting to work on your health and fitness right now? And if they're like, I've got this going on, I'm like, cool, sweet, I love it. What program do you use? And they like talk about this app they use. And I'm like, that's so cool. Like, I wish you the best of luck with that. And I hope, you're well. Or people are like, well, yeah, like I kind of have this, kind of have that. And I'm like, okay, this is what could work for you. I've had a lot of people who tell me, like, no, I have another Beachbody coach. I just had someone this week buy a challenge pack who had a different Beachbody coach, and her Beachbody quit. Her coach quit, and she canceled her Beachbody, and then she wanted to get back into it. And since I've talked to her before about it, she came to me as her coach. So it's like, that's someone I literally invited like over a year ago, who had a different coach, had Beachbody, all of that. But I planted that seed. So then when she was ready to get started, super simple, jumped right on the bandwagon. And that's the power of personal invites and planting that seed. The other thing I think we forget is to invite daily on our posts or our stories. Using call to actions, like that's as simple as a poll or swipe, or a call to action I really like in my post is like, check out my stories for more details. I don't think, like, personally, sometimes on Facebook it works well, but like Instagram, if I'm ever like, comment, XYZ below to get more info, I don't find a lot of people do that, because then it's public that they're asking for details. But if I like encourage someone to like go to my story where I'm talking about my group, right? So like an example right now would be, if I am talking on my stories about the Hocus Pocus group coming up, and then I put something about like, are you, I put a post up that's like, are you a Halloween lover? Do you want to get in shape before New Year's and beat all of the like New Year's trends and want to feel good through the holiday season? Like, if so, head over to my stories and see how you can join me in this Hocus Pocus group or something like that. But make it as easy as possible. I found a lot of people, like, if you say like DM me, a lot of people aren't going to take that first step to DM you. Like, they need the least resistance way to tell you they're interested. So that's where polls and swipes and stuff like that really work. Tip 4 is follow up frequently, and not just invites, but your challengers. So when I was adding people like crazy, most of I would say my number one people come from my challenge group, because they know the workouts, they're in love with the workouts, they've tried the products, and they want to help others do it, right? And so I think they've thought about coaching for a long time, but they had to believe in the product and stuff first. So it's not just about inviting and like following up with people you invite, which is important, but also like the better your challengers do, like if you get your challengers amazing results, it's almost a no-brainer that then they're going to join you as a coach. So it's important to follow up with your people you currently have and help them get good results. And then also checking in with the ladies you've previously invited, because I have had a lot of people, again, who like, it wasn't the right time. And it can be as simple, guys, as like, give yourself an out and just be like, I don't know if now's a better time or not, but I have this going on. I thought of you and just wanted to check in case. And like, to me, that's like a very sincere, nice message. Like, if someone told me that, I'm like, you are not salesy at all. Like, you gave me like 4 ways to get an out. but you have to follow up with people. And I count it, like I try to follow up with people every 3 months. If I haven't invited them in the past 3 months, I reach out to them again. And we've talked about that before, like, how do you know how many times to follow up and all that, but I just keep doing it. And that goes back to tip number 1. Whereas if you have different things to invite to, it's a lot easier because it's not like the same thing. It is a different new thing. And maybe Halloween's their thing, or maybe now, I don't know, something happened and they finally feel like they need to get their life in check. So it can be good. And tip number 5 is something I don't think I talk about enough, is like take responsibility and just try new things. Like, I think the number 1 reason I've been successful is because I completely branched off from my upline and just like started doing things on my own. Like, I didn't rely on my upline to run a challenge group. I didn't rely on my upline to host coaching webinars. Like, I just started doing them myself. Like, I don't even know how big our team was when I started hosting my own team calls. Now, like, I'm not telling you, you have to like branch off and do all your own stuff if you're not like ready for that or confident in that. But I would start taking responsibility, because I can tell you, and I think the other coaches in here could tell you, that it's a whole new ballgame when you're the one running the challenge group and you're the one who's like, it's your group because you're responsible for it, opposed to like, hey, do you want to join my team's group? Or like, do you want to, like, it's so much easier to just put them in there and be complacent and like not really like take the hands-off approach. But really like taking your ladies and forming your own group, or pairing up with a coach of yours or something. You can create your own themes for the month. You can even, like, guys, I purchase a $20 bundle on Etsy every month. And that's what I use, because it has every single thing I need to run the challenge group. And I just copy and paste it, post it in the group. And they're easy and fun, but it's like, you have to start taking that responsibility for your business, because that's what really like leveled me up when I started doing like things for myself. Because like a coaching webinar, like, it was one thing if I didn't have anyone show up to like my coach's coaching webinar, because I counted on everyone else to bring people. But like when it was my own webinar, I was like, I don't want like one other person on the call. Like, I'm going to work my butt off to make sure that I have like 3 people on the call instead of just having like one individual person sign up. Or hosting one-on-one like coaching. Like, have you ever done a one-on-one on Zoom about coaching? Have you ever said, hey, do you want to have a chat on the phone? Like, you can give me a call, right? Or are you relying on like when I host a sneak peek? Or so that's just something to think about, is like, where can you take some things and apply them to your business, and you can really run with them. So again, like, I'm not kicking anyone out of my challenge group. I'm not saying you're not welcome in my coach webinars, because you are. But that, when I was thinking of 5 things that shifted my business, that was one of them, because it was no longer my coach's responsibility. It was my responsibility. And that's when I was like, I want more people in my group because I want more engagement. Like, I want more people to show up on my coaching webinars. I want more people on team calls, like all of that kind of stuff. And then it really changed. So a big thing is just like, let's do this. Like, we have so much potential and so much opportunity. And I think going into the winter months, I personally think it's easier. Like, yes, there's holidays, but I always find it easier in the winter months to work my business, because there's like less hustle with like all the summer things. And like, I'm not outside as much, because obviously like it's dark. I mean, it's like pitch black right now and it's 8 o'clock, right? Like, there's just so much time. I feel like there's more time once we hit this fall stage where it starts getting dark, that I can actually like really run and work my business, because we're not outside all the time. And maybe you're like, harvest is coming up and I still have a few weeks of busy. That's totally fine. Just pick up like when you can. But I definitely just wanted to share some things with you that, like, if I were to like, when I talk to myself of like, what are the 5 things I need to do again? Like, this is what I need to do. Like, I've been slacking on posting in my challenge group. I've been like, I haven't hosted a coaching webinar. I haven't been sending invites, like all of those kinds of things. I haven't even told people how they can join me on my stories. Like, if you're not posting about how people can join you, they have no idea they even can. Like, people outside of the Beachbody world, like, they have no idea that you have a coach and you can like sign up and all that kind of stuff. Like, And so these were all things that I was like, I need to remind myself, like even sharing my life, I have been so absent on social media just because we've been so busy, and that like has not been my focus. And so these are all like reminders I needed for myself, but I think they're reminders we need too for the team, that like, if you want, you can make this whatever you want it. And if you're fine with how it is right now, that's fine. But I know like I want to go back to like, I want to be back where we were at. Like I want to send people to RL or to RLC. That's an FFA event. To NLC, right? Like New Leader Conference. That was like the most amazing conference in Vegas. I want to go back to Punta Cana, right? Like there's so many things I want to do again in Beachbody that I hope you guys are desiring too. And just seeing like, I just have to take that step to get there. So that's what I have. I didn't want to make it super long. Okay, I love that. Free daily challenge groups. Oh yeah. So yeah, Sarah has a really good point. Beachbody actually puts out free challenge groups. Like you don't even have to buy them. You just have to take a minute. Like they're not as easily like, and they're getting better at them, like lining them up. I think they realize people kind of like the daily instead of like Motivation Monday, and then you had to go in and schedule for Monday and blah blah blah. But those are good. And then yep, she makes them on Canva. Yeah, you could even make using those. Yeah, right. So Sarah had some really good tips, because I know Sarah started her own challenge group pretty early on. And I'm pretty sure when she started it, she only had 3 challengers in there. But like over time it's grown, and it just like was still like, I don't know if you want to speak on that, Sarah, of like why you decided to start your own, and how like even if you, excuse me, have a small amount of people, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, so really when I started, it was just like me and like 3 of my college roommates. For me, like, I don't know, because I knew them, I knew they'd kind of help keep me accountable too. Because like there was one month I dropped off and they're like, hey, are we still doing this? And I'm like, yep, I'm gonna get back on it. So that was really nice just to have like a small knit group. Just because like they would reach out to me. And so no, not everyone was posting all the time, and it has been really slow growing, but it's also been really nice because I've been able to just like, if I get a spur of the moment idea, like I just did Spirit Week with like maybe 24, 48 hours notice because like I was in the mood for it and it was a huge hit. I know last year I did like a declutter month, and like that was a huge hit. Like my mother-in-law was like, we need to do that again. We need to do that again. And like I know that was a huge hit last year too. So it's just like, it's nice to have that freedom, especially if you follow like other coaches, or like if you have an idea, if you're like, oh, I'd really like to do that, you can just set it and do it. Or like if you want to do like the hocus, if you don't like hocus pocus, but maybe you like Halloween Town or something, you could just do that in your accountability group. You don't have to like wait for Brianna to set it up. You don't have to wait for something. Like the taking responsibility also had like gives you more freedom, I guess, to elaborate. And yeah, a lot of people, it's something where, especially if you don't have a lot of people, it's a lot easier to check on the girls in there, because you can be like, hey, I didn't see you, like what's going on, or can I help you in any way, or just like cheer them on with where they are at the moment. Or maybe everyone in your group doesn't have time to work out, you can like make a month of nutrition, and then you don't have to wait for Brianna to come out with a nutrition group. You can just do it. Just be like, instead of sweaty selfies, we're going to post our meals every day. So that's really nice that you can like kind of specify to like that niche of girls that are in there.
Yeah, and the other side of that is I think a small group is good. I've had a lot of people who I add to our challenge group, and I like check in with them, and I'm like, yeah, like, like, oh, that's awesome, you're working out. Like, I don't see any sweaty selfies, stuff like that. So I'm checking in, and they're like, I work out, but like it just is intimidating to me because my group is 180 people. So like if you're someone who like it has no confidence and you're not used to working out, and now like I'm asking you to post a selfie of yourself when you're already not confident, you're all like, you just feel bad about your body image, like, you're probably not going to do it. And so I know I've had people who just told me like they're too intimidated to post in the challenge group. Like if you're in like Sarah's group where it's like smaller, tight knit people, and then they start to see like how almost like a lot of people in the group are posting, then more are going to. And it's just easier to like transition into being super successful when like it's a smaller, tight knit group. And like Sarah said, it's easier to check in on people. It's easier to do all that because you don't have to filter through people. So just something to think about if you don't run your own challenge group. I know there's a lot of people on here who do, and would probably tell you like, it is like just nice. Yeah, it's a little extra work for yourself, but again, like that's where the accountability side comes in or whatever. So but perfect. Any other thoughts, comments?